in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up?
Really like that.
You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Sunday afternoon. Man, it is college football season. As if you did not get enough Film Guy Network content Monday through Thursday live from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock on top of film studies, on top of sub episodes, 10-minute, 13-minute clips from the previous nights before. Why not a live Sunday show, Sunday reaction show? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I told you this last year. I always want to refresh this take or refresh this idea rather that was stolen strictly or straight from a colleague of mine, JD Piquel. And JD, you shouldn't say these things so loud with competitive individuals around you, particularly on live streams. You shouldn't say things like, hey, if you're not giving opinions on Sundays, are you really doing it? No, you're probably not. So we had to add a Sunday show last year. And honestly, as the season grew on, it was probably the show that I was the most tired because Saturdays are really, really long for someone like me, particularly when Georgia's playing. But Sunday shows as towards the end of the year started to become more and more some of my favorites. Look, I love the boys. Don't get me wrong. They work with me because I love them. That's why they're here. They're really good. They're really talented. But there's something very, very special about this network when I just get free roam. I just get to do whatever I want, talk about wherever I want, go wherever I want. I don't have to lead, transition, do nothing. It's just boom. Hot takes, hot mics like it was originally intended here on this network. So welcome into the Sunday show. Glad to have you here. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, review, and all that good stuff. Do the support up on the front end because I'm going to tell you right now, it is indeed a loaded show. What a great start. What a start to the college football season, man. A 10-point underdog outright win in a foreign country over a top 10 football team. I mean, golly, what a hot start. What a debut for college football to start the football season, man. Tech beats Florida State 24-21 out there in Dublin. And I don't know about you guys, what appeared to me to be I'd say about an 85% Florida State stadium. I mean, that was an absolute all day long. I'm wearing maroon, ironically. Did not mean to do so, but my God, was that a maroon stadium out there. It was maroon and garnet all day. I felt like it was an away game for both teams, a lot of travel, but I felt like it was virtually a home game. And you know how I know? You're going to see a lot of this year. Kirby pointed this out in our group chat. A lot of this from Haynes King in that huddle, man. I can't hear shit on these helmet comms, coach. It's loud. I didn't see none of that from DJU. Okay, none of that at all from those guys over there on the Florida State side. Let me know, hey, home field advantage definitely in Florida State's in there. Didn't really matter. Georgia Tech comes out the win. And I don't really know where to start in this football game, so we might as well start with the beginning, man. Florida State grabs the ball, and they walked the sumbitch right down the field. Scored a touchdown in the opening possession. And I honestly, at first, I was like, ooh, look at this. Look at Florida State's offensive line. Look at these guys moving the rock. Man, Georgia Tech going to have a tough time stopping the ball today, stopping the run, holding up against this big offensive line. What I failed to realize, and what probably should have been a little bit concerning, was they had the entire offseason, right? The entire offseason to develop an opening script, entire spring, entire fall camp, to develop an opening script to get their quarterback nice and comfortable in this football game. Had all offseason, and all they could really design and script for him were one little rollout, ball in the flat, nice and easy, first play of the game. We're going to roll you out, get the running back the ball, Roydell Williams right in the flat, 7-yard gain. I don't think they put it back in the air until midway through the rest of the possession, and it was a nice, easy rhythm throw, like behind the line of scrimmage, like bubble, like RPO type shit. And you had all offseason, Malik Benson, all offseason to get some type of big play, design shot, double move, something. And we come out, and that's how we're getting him comfortable. We're getting him comfortable with like middle school level difficulty throws, because I would imagine that that's all they really felt comfortable doing, even opening the game. And we saw as the game progressed, that's all they really were comfortable doing. I mean, it was clear to me early on in this football game, Florida State was going to have real problems separating. Hakeem Williams obviously did not play in this football game. He's probably going to be their most NFL-like target, I would imagine, as the season progresses. Once he gets fully healthy, he was not, or at least out of high school, that's what we all projected him to be. I mean, I don't want to admit this, but in my recruiting notes of Hakeem Williams, there's mentions of Julio Jones in that. Like, Hakeem Williams' high school pedigree was something scary, and he obviously wasn't available in this. But outside of that, the play calling was in conservative for two parts on Florida State's end. One, they could not separate. Two, they did not trust their quarterback. And that was very early on in this football game. They were not going to drive the ball down the field. I think the biggest in terms of air yards attempts in this football game were back shoulder balls to tight ends down the sideline. There was at one point in this football game, and I don't even know if it was satire, because I don't know if social media, gets you one of these gotcha moments every once in a while. But I believe at one point, DJU was 11 for 12 with negative air yards. Guys, that ain't winning football. Like, I don't care how good you are running the football. I don't care how good you are defensively or how good you think you are defensively. We're about to talk about that. When you have zero inability or zero willingness and a complete inability to drive the ball vertically down the football field, I don't care who you're playing. You're going to get stacked boxes. You're going to get cover zero. You're going to get pressured. You're going to have the quarterback the defense make that quarterback try to win the football game for you. And it was very apparent early on in this football game, Florida State's offense was not going to be able to do that at all. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, review. And we got a bunch of stuff to go over. I want to flip over to the other side of the football. It was very apparent to me early on in the offensive side of the football for Georgia Tech. They were going to move it. They were going to move it like hot knife through a butter, bro. That first possession for Georgia Tech, check this out. 6 plays, 79 yards. They faced 1 second down. They faced 1 second down on their opening possession, and it was a 2nd and 1. Hot knife through butter. Walking the SOB. I got a text from a Georgia Tech source after this, before they got on the plane from Dublin. And they said, quote, "We knew right after the first possession. Right after the first possession, we knew we were about to walk it on them boys for 4 quarters." And that's exactly what they did. Tech had such a great game plan and such a great execution of maximizing possessions and really shrinking this football game. Tech had 7 offensive possessions. Florida State had 7 offensive possessions in this football game. So off rip, you already know we do not have a lot of opportunities to score the football. All right. So even if Georgia Tech takes this game plan and maximizes it all year long, the maximum amount of points you're ever going to score against them is 49. 49. If their defense doesn't even show up, if they play on air, you only got an opportunity to score 49 points. They have done a tremendous job of shrinking these possessions, and this is exactly how they've done it. Check this out. Just look at their drive chart, man. You want to talk about efficient offense? I'm going to walk it up on the board and show you how they actually managed to complete it and execute it. But when you talk about efficiency and maximizing your possessions, look at this drive chart. This is beautiful. All right, check this out. 6 plays, 79 yards, touchdown. That's the opening drive. I told you. They didn't face a single third down. They only faced 1 second down on the entire possession to start the football game. They get it right back, go 3 and out. Okay, tough 3 and out. Right after that, 14 plays, 75 yards, and a tud. They had a 14-play drive right there before the half. 14-play drive. I don't even know how this is mathematically possible. 14-play drive in which they faced 1 third down. How? How do you do that? How do you have a 14-play drive in which you only face 1 third down? It was a 3rd and 5, and they converted it. They converted it through massive amounts of confusion, by the way, some of which I'm going to show you on the board here. A little bit later, they have a 5-play drive, 41 yards, missed a field goal. So probably should have had points on the board there. Definitely should have had points on the board there. It was, I think, a 44-yarder, maybe a 52-yarder, pulled it left nonetheless. Should have had an opportunity for points. They have another 3 and out. Then the last 2 possessions of the football game, check this out. 11 plays, tud. 12 plays, milk the clock, game-winning field goal. They had an absolutely efficient offensive game plan. That's what we call identity and execution. They knew exactly how they wanted to play football on Saturday. They executed exactly how they planned to play football on Saturday. I thought Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, who will be a Power 5 football head coach at some point. I would imagine by the end of this calendar year. Like, dude was runner-up in the Broyles Award last year as the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech. They were a top 25 offense in every statistical category, despite the fact that their quarterback led the ACC in turnovers. Okay, he's back in year 2, and he's doing this type of stuff. And I thought he did a great job of doing 2 things. They did a lot of things to win this football game, but offensively, I thought it was key to do 2 things. One, they attacked B-gap and beyond. There was a lot of talk about this defensive line for Florida State and how top-end savvy they were, how really, really good the starting 4 were for this Florida State defense. They attacked B-gap and beyond so damn well in this football game that they basically rendered the defensive line neutral. And I'm going to show you that on the board here in just a second. I thought number 2, and Tech does this all the time, and I thought Sarkisian did this best in his time at Alabama, and he does this now at Texas, but he was really the first coach that I watched where I was like, he's snapping the ball with 12 seconds left on the play clock, but I feel like he's almost running no huddle because I am panicking defensively trying to figure everything out. And the way they do that is by playing with late motions, late jets, late pre-snap things, flips, all kinds of different things from a structural standpoint that's nice and simple as an offense, but makes your job as a defense really, really hard. Because as the ball is snapping, you're thinking. And when you're thinking and I'm moving, you're slow. And when you're slow, I render you relatively neutral on the defensive side of the football. Let's try to do this without the boys here and without the production assembly here today. Let's go to the board. All right. So, first things first, we had to unmute the mic. Guys, I can't see you on the actual, comment section. So, you're just going to have to bear with me here. All right. This is a screenshot, not a photo. Don't shoot me video. Anyways, this is a screenshot, not a video, of a play from Georgia Tech last year. But what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the building blocks of why this offense is so damn hard to stop and why essentially they are basically a modern triple option is what they are. They are a modern triple option, okay, that also drives the ball pretty effectively down the field when it's not pissing down rain like it was out there in Dublin. So here's the deal. They have the running back to the right, okay, they got an H-back right here and a sniffer, and they already have jet motion coming. Okay, so automatically, I would say about 75% of snaps against Georgia Tech, you're going to get some type of pre-snap motion. They're going to drag something. They're going to make you respond in some type of way to them flipping the field, going what is essentially 4 by 0 to now 3 by 1 right before the snap. Okay, so that's first and foremost, all right? So you're going to have to deal with that kind of jet motion at your face most of the time. Now, off this jet motion, they got a whole bunch of stuff, right? On this particular play, they're going to fake the outside zone to the right. They're going to take the sniffer out into the flat. They're going to keep the quarterback out into the flat as well. And now we have essentially that jet guy going on a vertical. Now we have essentially what we called that arrow screen last year. USC kind of made this famous. We're going to put that H back in the flat. We're going to run the corner off, okay? We're going to take the linebacker's eyes with this running back. We're going to jet and send this guy here. Here comes the tight end out in the flat. Oh, by the way, if for some reason he gets covered in the flat, guess what we're going to do? We got a mobile quarterback. He's going to tuck it and he's going to run. All right, we're going to pull that ball down and we're just going to take off. We essentially have a triple arrow screen out into the flat, into the short side of this field. Well, that's just one thing, all right? Now, Tech yesterday, they did a great job of flipping or late motion or what I call scatter to a new formation. So right now, they're in 4 by 0, right? They got the H right here. They got 3 receivers. Now they're going to jet over here. Let's just say after they jet, they go ahead and leave him right here, all right? So now we're in 3 by 1. All right, well now, instead of that, we're going to scatter. Now we're going to scatter to 2 by 2. We're going to put the H back over here, and we're going to put the running back in pistol. So we started out the formation 4 by 0. All right, we're going to scatter now to 2 by 2 out of pistol. Right before the ball snap, that's the hut we're going to go. All right, so now we're in pistol. All right, with the H-back right here, we can still, by the way, do all of our play action. We can roll all the way back out that way, or we can just hit this wide zone right here out of pistol this way. Tech does this really, really well in a situation like this where, hey, we're going to send this jet motion this way. That's going to rock these safeties, all right? And now we're going to put the back in pistol, and we're going to run wide zone right back into this grass. Guys, all they're trying to do is flip and get good counts and good numbers to their sides, all right? Now, they also, on top of all of this, they're not just an outside zone team. They're not just an inside zone team. They're not just a jet sweep team. They're not just an arrow screen, right, team. They're not just a tunnel screen team. They're not just all this. Guess what, guys? They also run counter. They also run power. And they also do all of that with the quarterback. All right, so you have to account for all of this shit, all of this motion, all of this flipping, all this late movement. And oh, by the way, every single time the ball is snapped, any one of the four guys that just crossed my face could have the football. So you're looking at you're looking at a triple option offense with a quarterback back here that can actually relatively throw the football decently well. The problem yesterday was it was raining so hard, okay? It was raining so hard. Yesterday, I saw them in what looked to be 3-by-1. Let's take this H and move him off the field. This is one of their big third down conversions, okay? They were in 3-by-1. They ran what we call cheat motion, which means as he's running in jet, you're going to snap the ball as he's approaching the line of scrimmage, okay? So we got, as a defense, we're responding to this cheat motion. And then guess what they did? They ran a smash concept out of it, okay? Ran a smash concept right out of it. This is one of their big 20, 25-yard completions. And guess what? They only had like 3 or 4 of those all game, right? Haynes King yesterday, 11 of 14 for, I think, $148. Like, all they had to do passing-wise was keep you honest, all right, and not turn the football over, and they're going to be really, really successful as an offense. Also, by the way, all these gadget receivers, they all have relatively similar body types, even their running back. Jamal Haynes is like 5'11", 200 pounds. The rest of these slot receivers are real juicy guys that can like take the ball and run after the catch or take jets and really, really stress you horizontally. So what I mean, that's all the confusion, right? But guess what? When I'm really stretching everything this way or threatening you with wide zones this way, also punching you in the throat with the quarterback this way, guess who gets rendered relatively useless, no matter how good they are? These guys right here. These guys right here end up playing on their heels and end up trying to play side to sideline so much that eventually they get smacked in the mouth with a quarterback, right, for 5 or 6 or 7 yards. And then all of a sudden you look up and you haven't faced a third down all day. Why? Because they've been living in 2nd and 4, and they're averaging 5 yards a carry. So we're not going to play on third down today. We're definitely not going to play in 3rd and long. We're certainly not going to play in 3rd and long very often. I think Georgia Tech was 5 of 9 on 3rd down. They had 7 possessions. They only faced 9 third downs the entire football game. This is why. Because they confuse you. They render these guys useless. All right. I saw a lot of stuff on social media about poor number 9 from Florida State. Poor number 9. Number 9 getting cooked. Florida State fans ready to just hang him out to dry. I'm here to tell you, there's going to be a bunch of number 9s playing Georgia Tech this year. A bunch of number 9s that are going, oh, ball snap. Whoop, there he goes. Whoop, there he goes, right by my face. All right, so number 9 had a bad game for Florida State yesterday. You know who else had a bad game? Their entire defensive coordinating staff. Their entire defensive coordinator staff had a really, really bad day defending the option. You know why? Because not a lot of people run the option like that, man. Not a lot of people run it that effectively. Okay, so there's a lot that Georgia Tech did really, really good in that football game, but it's an option football game. That's what it is. You are playing an option offense, and you best be able to defend all of the options in it. And here's the great thing about what they did yesterday. They had very few negative plays, did Georgia Tech, right? Very few false starts, very few penalties, very few holds, very few. They had the one big fumble late in the football game, but very few negative football plays. That's the only way you can do that. If you create negative football plays against that offense, they will have a problem, okay? They will absolutely have a problem. But here was the deal yesterday. There was one play in that football game that I thought won Georgia Tech that game. It was a 3rd and 12 on that long touchdown drive right before the start of the fourth quarter. Okay. It was their last scoring drive. 3rd and 12. Marvin Jones beats the right tackle clean as can be. Spins him inside. Marvin Jones about to blow up Haynes King for a sack, force a punt. Florida State's got all the momentum in the football game. They're about to come back and survive this threat. Haynes King floats to his left, hits the dig right across the middle of the field. Second window, first down. In the football game, they go on and score. I text the producer, biggest moment of the football game right there, period, point blank. They asked that guy to convert one big play through the pass all day long, and it's an NFL play. Right tackle getting beat clean. We have to buy time. We have to hit this dig to convert the sticks. I'm going to get hit while I do so. This is a big boy play. That won the football game for Georgia Tech, in my opinion, in the middle of the third quarter, right as it concluded, headed to the fourth. They scored on that possession with 38 seconds left on the third quarter, go up 7 points, maintain the lead. I thought that was it. That was the biggest play of the football game. But I got to tell you this, and I don't know, quite frankly, who the defense coordinator is for Georgia Tech, and that's a mishap on me as an analyst doing this. But buddy, I thought you about tried to lose this football game. I don't know why. I understand you were in cover zero a lot of the time in this football game, and you were trying to put pressure, and you knew they couldn't get space and all this good stuff, and DJU struggling, Buddy, cover zero, sending the house on 4th and 8 2 times in a row. Ooh, make my pucker up. Oh my God, I was nervous for you. You made it so easy for a guy who was struggling to see anything. He comes to the line of scrimmage, gets cover zero. He knows right now, ooh, boom, 3-step slant right here, woo, right in my face. It made me so nervous. I thought they were going to lose. Honestly did. I thought they were going to end up walking down. Florida State ended up walking down and score, but shit, man. Golly, you had to make it tough on yourself. You had to make it real tough on yourself right there, because I thought you could have got off the field. Honestly, the cover zeros on fourth down, and I think it was 4th and 7 and 4th and 8. He converted on 2 slants. I think he got 15 yards on both plays. I was mystified. I was like, why? Just put him in zone. He's going to tap the ball. Just put him in some type of zone coverage. Dude is going to tap the ball. He's not going to see it clearly. He's going to nut up. Just do that. Why are we in cover zero? I want to talk about the overview of both of these schools, okay? I do. I want to talk about where we are for both of these football programs. Week 0, a lot of football left for these guys. Let's start with Florida State. I got to tell you what, that's a deflation, right? That is a deflation that only gets worse in mercenary football programs, in my opinion. Okay, we read that Ingram Smith story this week, and if you're a Florida State fan listening in, or if you're someone who hasn't listened to us all week, there was a story released by On3 this week of Ingram Smith coming out here, who is the CEO of the Tribal Spear, okay, down there, the NIL collective for Florida State. He is the CEO and the director of that. He's providing quotes out here to Pete Nakos of, hey, we're doing this better than everybody else. Everybody else is stupid. We're out here retaining our players, going out and getting the portal. You idiots are spending money on high school football players. Now, did he say idiots? No, he did not. But he did call everybody stupid. And he talked about how their model of only relying on the portal and going into the portal and keeping our best players here, and we're doing it better. We're light years ahead of everybody else. This is a problem. I fundamentally believe that identifying all of your holes and going out and just all in on the portal and bringing in a brand new 50% of your rosters, brand freaking new in January. And from January to August, we got to teach these dudes how to fight a war together without ever having played a real war. And then we go get into a war and we don't know how to fight. And that looked like a football team for me in Georgia Tech, who returned 20 or 22 starters who damn sure knew who they were in the middle of a fight, because they played 5 one-score games last football season. And Florida State was a football team who talked about all offseason how pissed off they were about how they got shortened and shortchanged and yada, yada, yada. And guess what? The football players who they are most dependent upon on their roster right now just freaking got there. They just got there. I see tweets on social media about how, oh man, Georgia Tech's in tough shit. This team's still pissed off from last year. Buddy, half the team just got there in January. What you talk about? They still pissed off from last year. Why is this your message? This shouldn't be your message. The message should be, we're brand new. We're brand new. We got to go out here and fight and learn how to fight brand new. Your quarterback just got there. Most of your weapons offensively just got there. Your starting left guard just got there. Your starting linebacker just got there. Your starting defensive end just got there. One of your starting nickels just got there. Your starting running back just got there. Y'all talking about last year, they just got there. And moving forward, and I know the schedule's manageable. It is relatively manageable. It is. You're looking at games that they could potentially lose. You're trying to find them, and it's Clemson, it's Miami, and it's Notre Dame. Those are the 3 games left on this football schedule, and they've got to win 2 out of 3 at least, bare minimum. Okay, bare minimum. They got to go 10-2 and hope to be the 2nd seed in the ACC, you would imagine, at some point in this season for them in the ACC. I really, really worry about football teams whose identity and structure are built on football players who just got here, and then they take a loss like this, and everything, the whole world looks like it's on the down trick, right? And then everybody just kind of folds. And everybody just kind of plays for themselves. And everybody just kind of does their own thing. All right, we've seen this time over time since the transfer portal has gotten here. The moment these transfer portal teams, which is what Florida State is, they are self-admitted a transfer portal team, okay? The moment they take a deflating loss like this, the shake back isn't as good as some of these other football programs who've been learning how to fight with each other for 3 or 4 years. Okay, so that's my concern. The good news is manageable schedule. The bad news is, if you told me right now Florida State's going to score 35 points next week, I'm going to tell you it has to be a mid-major football program. It has to be. Because Georgia Tech's defense is not a top 25 defense this year. They will not be. I do not wholeheartedly believe that. And you don't sitting here at home. Okay, so if they struggled like that and they look constipated like that against Georgia Tech, it's only going to get worse. What do you think it's going to look like against Notre Dame? Notre Dame's top 10 football team on the defensive side of the football this year. They returned the Bednarik Award winner. They returned 4 or 5 starters in the front 6, I'm pretty sure. They returned most of their defensive backfield. Okay? There are better defenses down the road for Florida State. There are much, much better defenses down the road. And oh, by the way, nothing you did on Saturday shows me you trust your quarterback. Nothing. You paid a lot of money for him to be there too, so that's troublesome. Let's talk about Georgia Tech on the other side of the football. Buster Faulkner. I'm telling you, guy had about a decade worth of mid-major D2 Southern Miss offensive coordinating history, right? Good. Really good. Not great. Really, really good. Did good things with not so talented offenses for a long time. And then Todd Monken took the job at Georgia. And Todd Monken's a Southern Miss guy, okay, head coach of Southern Miss before he was the offense coordinator for Tampa Bay, okay? Spent some time being a head football coach at that time, all right? Knew about this Buster Faulkner guy, called him. He was the offense coordinator of Southern Miss, said, hey, I know you're an OC right now, and I know you want to be an OC moving forward. I know you probably got intentions to be a head coach at some point. You are a young, talented football coach. Come be an analyst for me, not an assistant coach. Come be an analyst. Come work off the field for me. Help me design game plans. Help me identify strengths and weaknesses of our roster. Help me identify strengths and weaknesses of the opponent's roster. Help me develop game plans. So he comes to Georgia, works underneath Todd Monken for a couple years, and now all of a sudden he's a hot name as an OC. But the only job really for him to take a job as an OC is Georgia Tech. And guess what? He's an OC, but there's this Weiss guy hanging around. Or Winky, excuse me, there's this Chris Winky guy hanging around who's also going to kind of like deal with quarterbacks and also have his hands in on everything, but you can call plays. All right, and in his first year as a play caller, what does Buster Faulkner do at Georgia Tech? Top 25 offense, runner-up Ed Broyles Award, which goes to the top assistant coach in all of college football. He's good. He's really, really good, okay? And he's going to get a head coaching job this fall. I truly believe that. Matter of fact, I am on good authority that he turned some down this past offseason. Because you know why? He knew Haynes King was coming back. All right, he knew most of his returning offense was coming back. All right, he knew they were at a good chance of keeping Eric Singleton, their best receiver. All right, so he knew he had the guts, he had the ingredients to come back and make this offense even better this year than it was last year. And guess what that means? Instead of turning down, an opportunity to interview for maybe like a mid-major job like Troy or Georgia State or Georgia Southern or whatever it is. Maybe this year, I don't know, when Eli Drinkowitz takes the job at Florida, maybe you interview for Missouri. Or maybe when Billy Napier gets fired at Florida and they can't hire Drink or they can't hire Lane, maybe you take an interview at Florida. Or maybe you take one of these bigger jobs that isn't Middle Tennessee State. I'm just saying, I think there's going to be an opportunity that Buster Faulkner at the end of this year is one of the, if not the hottest names available in the coaching market. He's, I think, 43 years old, 42 years old. He's one of the best offensive minds in the sport, as you can see, okay, by what they did yesterday. All right, and the greatest thing about this is he's malleable, okay? People will say, well, he's basically running triple with Haynes King. Guess who he just recruited? Aaron Philo. Who is Aaron Philo? Aaron Philo just broke the state record here in Georgia for passing, and I don't think he ever really had a design run ever called for him at Prince Avenue. Not one. It's a completely different style of quarterback, and I would imagine by the time that guy's the starting quarterback at Georgia Tech, if Buster Faulkner is still there, they look totally different offensively. Totally different. They're still explosive. They're still great. They look totally different from an identity standpoint. And if I were hiring a head football coach, I would want a very malleable offensive mind. I would want somebody who can take my ingredients and create the best dish possible every single year, because my ingredients change. My ingredients change all the time. I can't franchise tag somebody. I can't sign them to a 7-year deal. All right. I got them for how long I got them. And then I got to figure out how to maximize the next group that I got. All right. Hey, 30 minutes on a great football game right there. Appreciate those guys for giving us a great start to the college football season. Appreciate you guys for being here with us on this tremendous Sunday afternoon. Man, I had a great time doing this. If you are a newcomer today, if you had just found us, if the algorithm put us on your doorsteps, we appreciate you for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you like what you saw, we'll be here live again tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love you. I'll see you again another time.